in the line. Lift the right. 2. Right. And loose.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Anzac Day Dawn Service of 2026. I am Major Dion Becker, and I have the privilege of being your Director of Ceremonies this morning. Shortly, the mounting of the guard on the Cenotaph will take place. The guard is to provide protection to the Cenotaph throughout the commemorations. This year we have 4 soldiers from 2nd 4th Battalion, Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment. They are commanded by Lance Corporal Lawrence Arundel. The service will officially begin at 06:30 with the firing of a 25-pound gun, symbolising the time when Anzac forces landed at Gallipoli over a century ago. Live stream internet and radio broadcasting from the ODT site will also commence at 06:30. However, in a few minutes, the New Zealand, Australian and United Kingdom national flags will be broken. Please note that the firing of the 2-round gun salute at 6:30 will be quite loud, so those in the vicinity of the gun are advised to cover their ears. I will provide a warning shortly before the salute is fired. Also, later in the ceremony, the official parties will lay wreaths on the cenotaph. A wreath marshal will guide. Members of the public are asked to wait until the end of the service to pay their respects and lay wreaths. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow my instructions and any other directions from officials. If you require medical assistance, please see the medical staff at the Red Cross tent located across from Dowling Street on State Highway 1 northbound. While we wait for the flags to be broken, Ruri Martinoga, the pipe major of the City of Dunedin Pipe Band, will play a lament. There will now be a drum roll signifying the rallying of the spirits. This will be followed by the gun salute, 2 shots, 1 minute apart. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to this Anzac Day Dawn Service, the 111th anniversary of the Anzac forces landing at Gallipoli in 1915. I would like to formally welcome members of the official party, our guest speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Gordon, Army General Staff, the New Zealand Government Representative, the Honourable Mark Patterson, the Australian Representative, Petty Officer John Constable, Royal Australian Navy, Member of Parliament for Dunedin, the Honourable Rachel Brooking, the Otago Regional Council Representative, Cora Hilary Calvert, and the Mayor of Dunedin, Her Worship Sophie Barker. I would now like to introduce today's officiating chaplain, Chaplain Leah Chrisman.
Kia ora, and welcome to today's act of remembrance. Take a moment and look at the faces of the people standing around you. In a world often divided, we all have chosen to gather together with unified purpose as individuals, families, and community. As the Lord comforts and strengthens us, we can take comfort and strength from the presence of our fellow men and women gathered with us today. We often think of attending or gathering at a memorial, but to actively memorialize requires internal action. To memorialize calls us to remember, and it also invites us to consider the present and the future in light of the past. I invite you today to consider the present and to hope for the future in light of the past. We remember and honor the sacrifices of thousands upon thousands of New Zealanders during times of war as well as times of peace. Through Gallipoli and many conflicts over history, our people have known the trauma and tragedy of war and its aftermath. Society may try to stifle or forget or distract. We must rather consider the gravity and meaning of sacrifice, lest we forget. We honor these, knowing truly that greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. As we consider sacrifice, our hearts ought to be moved for those touched by conflict today. We not only share in feeling the gravity of the past, but our hearts share in feeling the weight of current and ongoing conflicts. Again this year, we remember those affected in Gaza and the Ukraine, in the Sudan, Syria, Myanmar, the Sahel, Iran, and so many other conflicts in the world. We consider the New Zealanders who continue to serve with the Anzac spirit. And while we may never fully grasp the extent of their commitment, we look to them as an example and a model of that Anzac spirit. As we invoke the phrase, lest we forget, we are exhorted not just to gather at a memorial or participate in tradition, but to take inward account and responsibility, prompting outward action evidenced by our words and behaviors. To memorialize is to remember the past with the purpose of affecting our actions today, looking forward to a future where we are strong in that Anzac spirit, as well as bold in our hopes for peace. The opportunity to which we are invited in memorializing is a choice to live in a way that is informed and strengthened by our past. Today, let us choose to live inspired and changed by the examples of service and sacrifice from our past, and let us find unity in this purpose. As we say the ode together and fall silent for the last post and reveille, let us remember those who made the supreme sacrifice, those from our own families, those with no one to remember them. Let us reflect on the present, and in so doing, renew our commitment to the causes of peace and justice throughout the world. We will now join in singing God Save the King.
God save our gracious King, long live our noble King, God save our King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us, God save our King. Squire, sit.
Yes! 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 Right! And that, peace!
This morning's readings are by Leah Olson and Jack Waterworth, Both are prefects from Trinity Catholic College.
Jeanette Wise Mackey Williamson was born in Dunedin in 1862. She trained as a nurse at Dunedin Hospital in 1891 and graduated in 1893. She then practiced private nursing until she was appointed matron at Lincoln Agricultural College in 1870. In February 1899, she applied to serve in the South African War. Her application was successful, and she was appointed sister in charge of the second contingent. 7 of the nurses were paid for by the organising committee of Otago and Southland Nursing Contingent. They embarked in March 1900. She was stationed at No. 10 General Hospital, Bloemfontein, for 17 months, then on the hospital ship Rosencastle. On the 4th of September 1901, she was mentioned in dispatches by Lord Roberts, the British Commander-in-Chief. On the 27th, she was awarded the Royal Red Cross, being the first female New Zealander to receive the military award. It was presented by King Edward VII in December 1901. She returned to New Zealand in 1902 and was appointed matron of the Nelson Hospital, but resigned in 1903 due to ill health. She returned to Dunedin and nursed in a private capacity. She was one of the 17 foundation members of the Trained Nurses Club in 1907. Her experience in the Boer War was valuable, and in 1914 she was asked to represent the association to the Minister of Defence, James Allen, requesting that the government establish a nursing service for overseas duty, as New Zealand nurses were travelling to Australia to join the army nursing services there. Janet Williamson died in Dunedin on the 12th of March 1936, aged 73, and is buried at Dunedin Southern Cemetery. For her service, she was awarded the Royal Red Cross, the Queen's South African Medal, and was mentioned in dispatches. Her medals are now held at the Auckland War Memorial Museum.
Donald Forrester Brown was born in Dunedin in 1890, one of a family of 10. The family moved to Oamaru, where his parents established a drapery business. On completion of his education at Waitaki Boys High School, he purchased a farm at Tortada in 1913. With the outbreak of World War I, he sold his farm and enlisted for service. On completion of training, he was posted to the 2nd Battalion Otago Infantry Regiment, undergoing training in Egypt. In 1915, with the rank of sergeant, he was posted with the regiment to the Somme in the Western Front. On the 15th of September 1916, the 3rd phase of the Somme offence began. The Otago Regiment, along with units of the New Zealand Division, took part. In the opening attack, the 2nd Otago Battalion came under heavy fire on their flank while advancing. The North Otago suffered many casualties. Sergeant Brown, along with Corporal Jesse Rogers, also from Oamaru, attacked the enemy machine gun post, which was delaying their advance. They captured the gun and killed the gun crew. As the advance continued, the company came under further attack from a second machine position. Sergeant Brown led a party which captured and eliminated the gun and crew. Sergeant Brown's company lost 123 men out of an initial complement of 180 on the opening day of battle. The battalion returned to the front line on the 28th of September and took part in the Battle of Le Transoi. On the 1st of October, Sergeant Brown, alone and armed with a pistol, attacked an enemy machine gun post that was holding up the battalion's advance. He was killed by a sniper while engaging with retreating enemy. He was the first soldier with the New Zealand Expeditionary Force to be awarded the Victoria Cross. He is buried in the British Cemetery, Wallencourt, France. His name is on the Victoria Cross Memorial at the Cenotaph.
We now join in a moment of prayer. To the words, "Lord, in your mercy," I invite you to respond, "Lord, hear our prayer." Let us pray. For the peace of the world, for all who work to improve international relationships, that they may find the true way to reconcile people of different race, color, and creed, and for men and women the world over, that they may have justice and freedom and live in security and peace. Lord, in your mercy, Lord, hear our prayer. For all who suffer as a result of war, for the injured and the disabled, for the mentally distressed, and for those whose faith in God and humankind has been weakened or destroyed, for the homeless and refugees, for those who are hungry, and for all who have lost their livelihood and security, for those who mourn their dead, those who have lost husband or wife, children or parents, and especially for those who feel they have no hope to sustain them in their grief. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.
It is now my pleasure to introduce this morning's guest speaker. Lieutenant Colonel Adam Gordon was born here in Dunedin and enlisted into the New Zealand Army in 1998, graduating into the Royal New Zealand Armoured Corps as a second lieutenant. He has served with various combat regiments, including both 1st and 2nd 1st Battalion, Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiments, Queen Alexandra's Mounted Rifles Regiment, and 1 NZ SAS Regiment, where he has held various command appointments. Lieutenant Colonel Gordon has deployed operationally to the Southwest Pacific, the Balkans, and the Middle East. He has also served overseas with the US, UK, and Australian forces. In 2020, Lieutenant Colonel Gordon served as the lead to the Auckland Regional Isolation and Quarantine Coordination Centre in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. More recently, he was posted as Commanding Officer of the Youth Development Unit. Lieutenant Colonel Gordon is currently posted to Army General Staff as the Land Worthiness Regulator. Sir, it is an honour to have you here this morning.
Good morning, esteemed guests, service people, past and present, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. On Anzac Day each year, New Zealanders across the world come to services like this to commemorate all the men and women who have served in our armed forces. We especially remember those who gave their lives for our country. The grievous loss suffered by our country in the First World War brought grief and despair to homes across New Zealand. The heavy casualties at Gallipoli came as particular shock because New Zealand had no previous experience of the huge toll that weapons of industrial warfare could inflict. Each generation of New Zealanders has its own struggles and crosses to bear. But those who fought in the First World War faced more than their fair share of misfortune, a world war, then a global influenza pandemic, an economic depression of unparalleled scope, and then an even further, more terrible global conflict. The First World War was widely seen in New Zealand and elsewhere as the war to end wars. But as we all know, that was not the case, and our world is still ravaged in the Ukraine, the Middle East, and elsewhere by war. Today, let us think about the continuing need to stand up to those who believe that might is right and who have no regard for human rights or international law. We should also consider what we can do in the ongoing struggle for a better, peaceful world. It is now more than a century since the end of the First World War and nearly 80 years since the Second World War. The sacrifices made by New Zealanders in those conflicts and more recent wars, however, do not diminish with the passing of time. For thousands of years, human beings had recognised there are two kinds of death, the first being physical, and the second, when your name is spoken for the last time. We who are gathered here should do all that we can to ensure that the names of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for New Zealand are not forgotten and do not go unspoken. Our service today is a powerful demonstration of New Zealanders' continuing commitment to honouring what these men and women did for New Zealand. When you look at the names of the fallen on war memorials and elsewhere, think about what these men and women and their comrades who are lucky enough to survive endured. Think about the pain suffered, the lives cut short, the dreams unfulfilled, and the grief felt for those left behind. I'd like to conclude this morning with the words of Ataturk, the founder of modern-day Turkey. Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets to us, where they lay side by side here in this country of ours. Your mothers who sent their sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are in peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons now as well. Thank you.
The Ode to the Fallen in Te Reo by Major Retired Mr. Crispin Garden Webster, and then in English by Warrant Officer Class 1 Mr. Jerry Costello, President of the Dunedin RSA.
E kore rātou, e ka mātuatia. Pena ia tātou, kua mahu e nei. E kore hoku rātou, e ngoi kore. A hokua, pehia i ngā ahuatanga o te wā. I te hekenga atu o te rā, tai noa ki te aranga mai i te ata. Kau maumahara tonu tātou ki rātou. Ka maumahara tono tātou ki rātou.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to reintroduce the officiating chaplain, Chaplain Leah Chrisman.
When you go back home, say, "For your tomorrows, we gave our today."
Ladies and gentlemen, wreaths will now be laid on the cenotaph to remember those who have died in the service of their country. Members of the public are invited to lay wreaths at the conclusion of the service. The first wreaths will be laid representing the New Zealand Government, Gallipoli descendants, the Australian Government representative, Member of Parliament for Dunedin, the City of Dunedin, the Dunedin RSA. The City of Dunedin Pipe Band will play something in the background. Otago Regional Council, New Zealand Navy, New Zealand Army, New Zealand Air Force, the Highlanders, and the RSA Choir. Red Cross, St John, New Zealand Police, New Zealand Fire Service, New Zealand Customs and Ministry for Primary Industries. New Zealand Corrections, J Force, K Force, Merchant Navy, Ex-Nablemen's Association, and the Patriots. I would now like to call all organisations with wreaths placed in the remaining rows to come forward to place their wreaths. Following this, all other organisations present, schools and the general public who are present with wreaths to lay. The Dunedin RSA Choir will now sing the hymn, Be Still My Soul, written by Katrina van Schlegel in 1752 and translated by Jane Borthwick in 1855. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by for the last post, where the national flags of New Zealand, Australia, and the United Kingdom will be lowered. A 30-second silent tribute will then take place, followed by reveille. Chaplain Leah Chrisman will now give the benediction.
God, we ask that you grant to the living grace, to the departed rest, to the Church, the King, the Commonwealth, and all humankind, peace and concord. And to all your servants, life everlasting. May the Lord bless and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join in singing the national anthems of New Zealand and Australia.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and in history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. Enjoy for strength and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, that almost concludes the service. But before the parade is dismissed, on behalf of the Dunedin RSA, I'd like to thank Lieutenant Colonel Adam Gordon for being our guest speaker today, Leah Olsen and Jack Waterworth for their readings, Mr. Jerry Costello, Dunedin RSA President, and Mr. Crispin Garden Webster for reading the Ode to the Fallen. Ruri Martinoga for playing the lament, the Dunedin RSA Choir, the Kaikorai Metropolitan Brass Band, the City of Dunedin Pipe Band, Gravity Events and Strawberry Sound for the sound, screens and lighting, Bridie Strang, the sign language interpreter, and the bugler Ralph Miller. Thanks also go to the Otago Gunners Association, who conducted the gun salute, and the Otago Officers Club and Aotearoa Gaming Trust for funding assistance at this event. The RSA would also like to acknowledge the significant behind-the-scenes contribution made by the Dunedin City Council and staff. And now a quick reminder of other local ANZAC Day services and events taking place today. At 8 a.m, everyone is welcome to attend a breakfast at Arai Te Uru Marae, Shetland Street, Māori Hill. A commemorative service at Andersons Bay Cemetery commencing 09:30. A parade assembly at the Mosgiel RSA at 9:35, followed by a service at the Cenotaph, Anzac Park commencing at 10 a.m. A service at Monticello Veterans Home commencing at 11 a.m. A service at Upper Junction with the Otago Military History Group commencing at 12:30 p.m. The University of Otago Anzac Day service will be held at the Service University Plaza commencing at 1 p.m. Wet weather alternative being inside the main common room in the University Union building. The RSA Choir will perform their Anzac Review at Knox Church commencing at 7 p.m. There will also be hot drinks and Anzac biscuits available for members of the public at Toitu Otago Settlers Museum following the completion of this dawn service. Shortly, the Cenotaph Guard will dismount. On the completion of this, the parade will be dismissed.
Thanks, guys. Just a reminder, Monticello, no later than 10:15, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this ANZAC Day Dawn service for 2026.
Thank you.
I would like to finish by thanking you all for your attendance this morning, and we look forward to seeing you here again next year.